Tel Aviv announced that Abdel Malik Al-Houthi has been placed at the top of its target list. Meanwhile, the Houthis engaged in renewed clashes with American warships, resulting in catastrophic outcomes. Iran responded with a large-scale military campaign against Tel Aviv, while Trump considered a preemptive strike on Tehran's nuclear facilities. At the same time, Tel Aviv prepared to attack Sana'a from the Dalak base in Eritrea, with an Arab country declaring its support for the Hebrew army in its war against the Houthis. In a surprising turn, a valuable British target fell into the hands of the Houthis, prompting British intelligence to send a challenge signal to Mossad. Meanwhile, the aircraft carrier Harry Truman came under fire as Tel Aviv's leadership outlined scenarios for the next war. The Russian army declared advancements into Ukrainian territory, with Donald Trump stating, "It's either Ukraine or Tel Aviv." Yemen remains a hotspot where to win this war, allies must be rallied, friends recruited, and every strike must surpass the previous one in force. This principle is embraced by all sides of the conflict, from Washington to Tehran. Al Arabiya Channel, quoting the Hebrew newspaper Ma'ariv, reported that Tel Aviv is gathering the necessary intelligence to assassinate the leader of Ansar Allah, Abdul Malik Al-Houthi. Israeli officials believe the Houthis' system relies entirely on a single tribal leader. If Tel Aviv and its allies succeed in eliminating Abdel Malik and his brothers, the entire system may collapse. However, observers warn Netanyahu to proceed cautiously, as such an act could awaken the Iranian giant. Indeed, Tel Aviv is monitoring Tehran's preparations for a major attack. The Israeli chief of staff ordered the military to prepare for all scenarios, raising Netanyahu's concerns. According to the Wall Street Journal, Donald Trump's team is considering options against Iran, including airstrikes, while planning to increase sanctions as part of efforts to curb Iranian support for armed groups in the Middle East. These strategies are being explored to prevent Iran from developing nuclear weapons. In another development, Tel Aviv reportedly plans to launch airstrikes on Yemen from the Dalak base in Eritrea. Reports suggest that the Israeli military is escalating its operations against Sana'a, potentially leading to significant regional escalation. The geographical distance between Tel Aviv and the Houthis poses a major challenge, prompting Israel to seek alternative solutions, such as forming a military coalition. Hebrew media indicated that Netanyahu had dispatched advanced fighter jets, including F-35s, F-16s, and F-15s, to air bases in the Dalak archipelago. This move, which raises many questions, suggests Netanyahu is positioning closer to Yemen's borders in preparation for a potential airstrike on Houthi-controlled areas. Utilizing the Dalak base for attacks on Yemen could escalate tensions and subject Eritrea to direct military retaliation by the Houthis. Meanwhile, the UAE has aligned itself with US and Israeli military preparations against the Houthis. Hebrew media and activists confirmed the establishment of a US-Israeli airbase on Abd al-Quri Island, funded by the UAE. Reports revealed the airbase, still under construction, includes a 2,400-meter runway capable of accommodating heavy military aircraft, such as bombers. The base is strategically positioned to support operations against the Houthis and enhance military actions in the region. The UAE previously evacuated the island's residents and transformed it into a military zone, accelerating the airstrip's construction. This base on Abd al-Quri Island is expected to serve as a strategic launch point for US and Israeli forces and a critical observation post in the ongoing conflict against the Houthis. These military buildups are a response to Sana'a's blockade on Israeli vessels and attacks deep within Tel Aviv, marking continued resistance from Gaza's besieged factions. In parallel, Yemeni security forces claim to have thwarted hostile activities by British intelligence, MI6, and Saudi intelligence. A Houthi security statement announced the arrest of members of a British spy network. These agents reportedly underwent evaluation and training by British and Saudi officers in Riyadh, before being sent back to Yemen to conduct surveillance and intelligence operations. In a related military statement, Houthi spokesperson Yahya Sari announced the targeting of the U.S. aircraft carrier Truman and several military and vital sites in Tel Aviv and Ashkelon using drones and cruise missiles. This announcement was followed by coverage from the Jerusalem Post. Facing the Houthis in Yemen poses unique challenges for both Tel Aviv and the United States. According to the report, Yemen's status as an isolated territory severely restricts access and makes intelligence gathering extremely difficult. The Houthis' deep integration into local communities and their advanced use of human intelligence networks further complicate efforts to obtain precise and actionable intelligence. Unlike Lebanon, Syria, or Gaza, Yemen's rugged and mountainous terrain provides the Houthis with natural fortifications, complicating military operations and reducing the effectiveness of conventional warfare tactics. The report noted that Yemen's geographical advantage is one of the reasons behind the Houthis' resilience after years of aerial bombardment and multi-front assaults by forces supported by the Saudi-led coalition. This prompted Netanyahu's foreign ministry to urge settlers not to share details of their military service on social media, to prevent such information from being exploited by external parties in initiating legal actions against them, a scenario that has already started occurring in several countries. Shifting from Middle Eastern tensions to Russia's war against Ukraine in the West, Russia appears to ignore red lines, while everyone else seems entangled in the Red Sea waves and the fallout of all-out war. Putin, meanwhile, enjoys calm in the Sea of Azov, as the Russian Ministry of Defense announced that Russian forces have liberated the town of Dakhnoye in Donetsk. As for Zelensky, who seeks Trump's help in his crisis, his situation resembles someone seeking refuge from fire in the flames. Trump appears to lack the bandwidth to handle two crises simultaneously. He announced that if certain hostages in Gaza are not released by the time he assumes office, there will be hell to pay, insisting they must be freed immediately. Trump sees himself as Tel Aviv's best friend, having delivered much for them, including recognizing Jerusalem as Israel's capital. However, he has mentioned Ukraine only a handful of times in his speeches, each instance inducing more panic among Ukrainians than before.